A Nightmare on Elm Street that came out in 1984. Actually pretty good, man, can't lie. I think what I really loved about this movie so much is the practical effects. I was actually very surprised as to how much I loved it. Usually, typically, you know, you usually see a lot of CGI work getting done in horror movies, especially when they do like a lot of kills or when they insert blood. And sometimes it can come across as like kind of just like crappy and just faking and just like not really that realistic in terms of how it looks. It really felt realistic. I mean, yeah, sure, at times there was times where like I felt like the blood was kind of like fake looking. But then it's one of them situations where I can still acknowledge that, you know what, like I feel like, nah, it doesn't matter, man. Like, I'll give you a pass on that one. I'll give you a pass on that one because everything else for the most part looked very realistic. And I don't know, man, I feel like it's just the practical effects really matched the like dream sequences. That was really like the highlight for me in this film, was really much the practical effects. You know, the kills in this movie was kind of, to me, quite interesting and creative. It's one of them kills where I haven't really seen before. I'm like, oh damn. At the same time, I don't feel like this movie has that many kills, not really. I feel like it's more so like a, the movie feels more so like a horror, but also like a thriller at the same time. You have like Freddy Krueger being like he's the one that's kind of given the genre more of like a thriller aspect, where he has a bit of character to him. He's a bit more, you know, playful compared to like other like certain horror icons and stuff. You know, even though I was somewhat disappointed in a way that there wasn't that many kills, but at the same time, it was still, you know, one of them situations where it didn't really like bother my experience too much. I was still like going into it, you know, expecting not to really like it, if I'm being honest, because I thought, you know, when you think about Freddy Krueger, you think of Michael Myers, you think of, you know, Jason Voorhees, and I feel like the first movies to those films were absolutely terrible. So comparing it to this was actually a very good movie, and I do feel like it does age very much well. I think you also have to, you know, include the fact that because the pacing was very much good in this movie. I very much liked how quick the pacing was. Thank gosh, yeah. You know, Freddy Krueger is like, yeah, bro, you know, 1 hour and 30 minutes, I gotta get this like stuff rolling, man. I need to start wrecking them kills. I need to start, you know, being cheeky, being mischievous and all that stuff, because, you know, I ain't got all day, you know. 1 hour and 30 minutes, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. So you gotta respect Freddy Krueger for being like, yeah, man, like I don't have that much time, so I gotta rush things in a good way. Like, it flows very well. Each scene you get, it feels like, it doesn't feel like a filler. You don't really feel like you get like a filler dialogue. Everything feels like it meshes together well, and it just flows very much well, to where you're not sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, like when's this gonna end already? Whereas when you have someone like Michael Myers constantly hanging around the bushes like some sort of like weirdo, thinking like he has like, I don't know what, 4 hours to make a movie. No, bro, you got 1 hour and 30 minutes or less. Like, come on, hurry up and rack it up, man. You know what I mean? I do respect Freddy. He wants to give the best experience to us and be like, yeah, man, like I ain't gonna be sitting around like, you know, Michael Myers and doing all this weird shit. You know what I mean? So if you're worried about the pacing in this movie, I wouldn't worry, because like, I feel like you're just gonna watch it from A to B very fast. In terms of dialogue, yeah, the dialogue was very much like, you know, pretty much standard, like, in a not like a bad way. I feel like it was okay. It very much has that sort of 80s type of dialogue, to where in a way it kind of feels kind of cheesy the way people talk to each other and stuff, but at the same time, I don't know if it's like an 80s thing to how people spoke back then. I don't know, but I mean, it wasn't like bad, like terrible, anything like that. It's just something to point out that personally for me. In terms of Freddy Krueger, he's very much an interesting character. Obviously, I knew of him before I seen this movie, so I knew that, you know, the gist of his character, and you know, like he was alright. You know what I mean? Like, at least he's doing something. At least he's like, you know, showing character. So I can respect when you have a character like Freddy Krueger that's just entertaining. He's just, you know, doing his stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not boring. I thought England, butchering the surname of the guy that played Freddy, but I feel like he was a good portrayal of Freddy Krueger, and I can see why a lot of people like him. In terms of the, you know, the final girl Nancy, she was one of the characters where like I didn't hate her, but I didn't love her either. Like, I didn't really have a problem with her, to be honest. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just there, really. Like, I don't hate her, I don't love her. And my gosh, Johnny Depp, this boy is in every single film I see. This guy is actually like an Easter egg in an Easter egg. This guy is everywhere, fam. Like, it's so crazy how many films this guy's been in. You know, he was okay. Like, he didn't really do much, honestly, so I can't really critique him that much. Like, he was just kind of just there. But if we're just talking about the gore itself, like, just like the gore, like, it's how it looks on camera and how it's executed, I thought it was pretty darn good, honestly. Like I said, other than the fact that the blood sometimes looked fake, it wasn't too fake to the point where it took me out the movie. Like I said, the practical effects in this movie was very much a big seller for me. Like, when I think of this movie, I think of the practical effects. If the practical effects wasn't in this movie, or wasn't like portrayed very good in this movie, I don't think I would have really rated this movie that high, if I'm being honest with you. I really feel like this movie still ages well because of it. Sometimes all you need is some good practical effects, and voila, man, that's it, man, that's it. It's a solid movie that I wouldn't be against watching it again. So yeah. But anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, comment down below, let me know what you thought about this movie, if you hated it or if you loved it. I do hope horror movies, you know, every single week, including new releases. So yeah, stay tuned for that if you want to still keep watching these other stuff. In a bit, man.